The winter wind howled across the prairie, carrying snow and dust that stung her face. She had nowhere to go, no one to turn to. Her name was Mara, and for weeks she had wandered from town to town, hiding in barns, abandoned shacks, and beneath old bridges. Each night her body ached from hunger, cold, and fear. Her stomach growled constantly, but her pride kept her from begging. The sun was setting when she spotted smoke curling above the treetops. A small, sturdy cabin stood on the edge of the woods, its windows glowing warmly. Mara hesitated. She had learned to distrust anyone who offered kindness. Kindness always came with strings. Yet desperation pushed her forward. When she reached the cabin, a tall man emerged from the doorway. His hair was long and dark, his eyes steady and unreadable, his skin weathered from years under the sun. He was a Comanche, and his presence was both commanding and quiet. "You seeking shelter?" he asked, voice calm, controlled. Mara's throat was dry. "Yes, I have nothing. Please." She couldn't finish. The words stuck in her throat as if speaking them aloud might make her invisible again. He studied her for a long moment. "You will work for your keep. This is all I can offer. Food, fire, and a place to sleep, but you must earn it." Mara nodded eagerly, relief and shame mixing in equal measure. I understand." The cabin became her sanctuary. She chopped firewood, gathered water from the stream, cleaned, cooked, and tended a small garden. The Comanche watched her silently, sometimes offering a nod of approval, sometimes disappearing into the woods. He spoke rarely, and Mara learned that his silence was not coldness but patience. Days turned into weeks. Mara began to trust him, not completely, but enough to let her guard down. She noticed small things, the way he made traps to feed them both, the careful way he tended his horse, the hidden compassion in his gaze whenever she stumbled or burned a meal. One evening, as snow fell thick and fast, Mara tripped over a log while fetching firewood. She twisted her ankle and fell hard. Pain shot through her leg and tears filled her eyes. The Comanche appeared beside her in an instant. "You're reckless," he said quietly, though his hands were gentle as he lifted her. "Come, sit by the fire." She wanted to apologize, to explain herself, but he shook his head. No words, only rest. That night, as she huddled by the fire, he brought a blanket over her shoulders. "You do not owe me anything," he said softly, "not even your past." Mara's chest tightened. She had traded so much of herself for survival, for safety, for food. But for the first time, someone offered her something she had never had, trust without conditions. Winter passed. Mara grew stronger. She learned to ride the Comanche's horse, to track deer in the forest, to fish in the stream. Slowly, the quiet man began to speak more, sharing stories of his people, his childhood, and his loss. She listened intently, realizing that he, too, carried a deep loneliness, an emptiness that had only started to fill because she had arrived. One morning, Mara awoke to find him waiting outside, a bundle in his arms. A small, injured fox pup whined softly. "You will care for it," he said. "It is yours now, like you are mine." She stared at him, speechless. The words were not literal, they were deeper, unspoken promises. A home, a heart, a future. The seasons changed. Spring brought warmth, green grass, and life returning to the forest. Mara tended the garden, cared for the pup, and learned to hunt alongside the Comanche. One evening, sitting by the river, she spoke the words that had been trapped inside her. "I thought I was worthless, that no one could want me alive, that my past would always haunt me." He reached for her hand, rough and calloused but gentle. "You are not worthless. You are alive, and you are not alone anymore." Tears ran down her face, hot and cleansing. For the first time, Mara felt hope instead of fear. She looked at him, the man who had given her everything without asking anything in return, and realized that survival had brought her to more than safety. It had brought her love, trust, and a chance to build a life that was truly hers. Years passed. The cabin grew brighter, warmer, filled with laughter and life. Mara and the Comanche raised children, taught them the ways of the land, and lived in harmony with the forest and its creatures. Every time the wind howled across the prairie, it reminded Mara of the nights she had wandered alone, and every time she whispered a silent thanks to the man who had rescued her from despair. She had traded herself for shelter, yes, but in the hands of the lonely Comanche, she received more than she could have ever imagined: a home, a heart, and a future full of love, purpose, and belonging.